Hello everyone. Welcome to Mentari Group live streaming lesson. My name is Linawati. You can call me Ibu Lina. And today we are going to learn about mathematics, especially solving problems involving fractions. This lesson is taken from My Pulse Are Here Math, Primary 5A, Chapter 5. Now, the big idea of this lesson is for all of us to learn that we can solve word problems involving fractions using bar model. How many of you already know and love to use bar model to solve word problem? Maybe some of you have not, and some of you still don't know, but never mind. Today, we are going to learn together how bar model can help us in understanding word problem and hence will help us to solve the word problem. All right, are you ready? Right, let's look at some of the word problem and let's see how we can use bar model in helping us to solve the problem, and then let us solve the word problem together. Are you ready? Right, let's now see the first word problem. Sheena poured 6 liters of water equally into 4 bottles. How much water was there in each bottle? Sometimes when we try to understand a word problem, we continue to read and read again. So let us read one more time. Sheena poured 6 liters of water equally into 4 bottles. How much water was there in each bottle? Right. We can use bar model to solve this problem. Bar model is actually rectangles. These rectangles represent a quantity. In the word problem that we try to solve now, we are talking about a quantity of water. What do we know from the word problem? We know that there are 6 liters of water. And Sheena poured 6 liters of water equally into 4 bottles. We can draw the bar model. We can draw a rectangle to represent the 6 liters of water. We can simply mark it as 6 liters. Now, how do we draw to show that 6 liters of water is poured equally into 4 bottles? This is what we are going to do. We're going to divide this rectangle into 4 equal parts, showing 4 bottles. Now the question is how much water was there in each bottle? If one part represents 1 bottle and there are 4 bottles, that means this part represents the amount of water in each bottle. Now you can see here, this bar model gives you some idea about how to solve the word problem. How do we find the amount of water in each bottle if you are looking at this bar model? Which operation will you use? Do you add? Do you subtract? Do you multiply? Or do you divide? Right, we divide. So we divide 6 by 4 to get the amount of water in each bottle. How do we divide 6 by 4? This is what we are going to do, if you still remember. 6 divided by 4, we get 1. And then we get remainder 2. Alright? Now, to express the amount of water, we are not saying 1, remainder 2. Because we are not counting 1 water, 2 water, 3 water. We can use, or we can express the result of this division in a mixed number. That means we write it as 1 and 2 quarters. And if we simplify, it will be 1.5. So therefore, 6 divided by 4 is 1.5. And so, there was 1.5 liter of water in each bottle. Is that clear? Right. Let's move on to the next word problem. I think should be okay. I will just write the second answer there. Remember, when we want to try to solve a problem, what do? We read so that we understand first. Alright? Christina had 4/5 kilogram of diced potato. She used half of it to fill some curry puffs. How much diced potato did Christina use? One more time, we read together so that we will understand the word problem. Christina had 4/5 kilogram of diced potato. She used half of it to fill some curry puffs. How much diced potato did Christina use? Right. So now, do you have some idea about what this is about? Let's get to know, or let's understand this word problem. Alright, how much diced potato did Christina have? She has 4/5 kilogram of diced potato. So what did she do with her diced potato? She used half of it. Half of the diced potato she had to fill some curry puffs. So how much diced potato did Christina use? So we want to know how much is half. Right? Now let's use bar model to solve the problem. Remember, we can use rectangle to represent a quantity. And in this word problem, the quantity is about diced potato. Christina had 4/5 kilogram of diced potato. Therefore, we can draw a rectangle. And this rectangle represents 4/5 kilogram of diced potato. Right. What is next? What did she do with this diced potato? She used half of it to fill some curry puffs. Now, if you have this diced potato and you use half of it, what are you going to do with this model? Correct. We divide it into 2 so that we can know half of it. This is the part that Christina used to fill in some curry puffs. And then the question is, how much diced potato did Christina use? So we want to know how much is this. All right? How much is half of 4/5 kilogram? Now, if you look at this model, what will you do? Now, we have learned about multiplications of fractions. Half of it means that multiply by half. That means half of 4/5 is the same as half multiplied by 4/5. Do you still remember how to multiply two fractions? Simply multiply the denominator and then multiply the denominator. 1 times 4 is 4 and 2 times 5 is 10. So we get 4 tenths. And remember, what is the simplest form of 4 tenths? Correct. It is 2/5. So that means Christina used 2/5 kilogram of diced potato. Right. From the two, we can see that the bar model really helps us in understanding the word problem, and then the bar model may also give us insights to the kind of operations that we are going to use in solving the word problem. All right, now let's try by yourself. Look at this question, and I give you few seconds to read and then to work on your own. After that, I will come back to you very soon. Okay, do you know how to solve the problem? I am not really looking into the answer only. As I said before, we want to really learn and find out that using bar model really help us in understanding and finally help us in solving word problem. So let's turn to the word problem together. Try A. Kathy used 1 3/8 kilogram of flour to make muffins. How many of you like muffins? I like muffins too, but don't eat too much, okay? She used 1 1/4 kilogram less flour than Diana. How much flour did Diana use? You have an idea here? So there are two persons. Who are they? Kathy and Diana. Kathy used 1 3/8 kilogram of flour to make muffins. It seems that Diana was also using the flour to make muffins, and Kathy actually used 1 1/4 kilogram less flour than Diana. The question is, how much flour did Diana use? Now remember, this is a word problem involving comparison. Do you still remember the word? Yeah, comparison involves more than or less than. And if you remember, the type of bar model that we use for comparison will be slightly different. Now let's solve the problem together. Let's try to transform or to describe this word problem into a bar model. We have Kathy here, and we have Diana here. Each of them use a certain amount of flour. Therefore, we will use two rectangles. Each represents the amount of flour that Kathy used and the amount of flour that Diana used. I use K for Kathy, and then she used 1 3/8 kilogram of flour. So this is the bar model for that, and that is 1 3/8 kilogram. Now she here is Kathy. So Kathy used 1 1/4 kilogram less flour than Diana. Now let me just ask you, who used less flour? Kathy or Diana? Kathy. That means Diana used more flour or less flour? Diana used more flour than Kathy. Now, if rectangle represents the quantity, and we know that Diana used more than Kathy, what do you think the rectangle for Diana should look like? Yes, it should look longer. So let us draw the bar model, the bar for Diana. Floor. Kathy used 1 and 1/4 less flour than Diana. That means Diana used more flour, and hence her bar will be longer. Right? So now where do we put the 1 and 1/4 kilogram less than? Is it here? Did Diana use 1 and 1/4 kilogram of flour? Is it here? 1 and 1/4 kilogram less than? Is it? No, it is not. You are right. It is not. Okay? And therefore, the question is, where should 1 and 1/4 kilogram be in the bar model? Yes, the 1 and 1/4 less than is actually this part. So if we see, Kathy used 1 and 1/4 kilogram less flour than Diana. And the question is, how much flour did Diana use? If you look at this bar model, can you tell me which part is asked? Right, it is here, the part that the amount of flour that Diana used. We want to know how. Right, if you look at the bar model carefully and you want to find out how much is this part, what are you going to do? Do you add? Do you subtract? Do you multiply? Or do you divide? We add. Do you notice that this part is the same size as this part? That also means that this part is 1 and 3/8 kilogram. Diana's part is made up of this part and this part. And therefore, we can find the amount of flour that Diana used by adding 1 and 3/4 kilogram and 1 and 1/4 kilogram. I think in adding mixed number, we can first add the whole number. 1 and 1, it makes 2. Right? And then we can add the fraction together, which is 3/8 and 1/4. Now, to add two fractions, do you still remember what must we do? We have to make the denominator the same. We have 8 and 4 as denominator. They are related. Oh, that makes it easier because we just need to convert 4 into 8. Right? If I can write it again, 3/8 will be the same, and the 4 will be 8 multiplied by 2. And what are you going to do with the 1, the numerator 1? It will be multiplied by 2 as well, so there will be 2. So that means we have 2. We can add the fractions together first, one thing at a time. Okay? Right. And then it is 2 plus 5/8 is actually the same as 2 5/8. And hence, we can say that Diana used 2 and 5/8 kilogram of flour. Right. Now again, we see that we can use a bar model to help us understand the word problem. And then by looking at the bar model, it gives us some idea about what operations to use before we arrive at the answer. Okay, let's now move to the next question. Again, I give you a few seconds for you to read and then try to come up, think what kind of a bar model will you use in understanding before you solve this word problem. Okay, try to understand the word problem. Regan obtained 1.5 cups of juice from a coconut. I love coconut water. That is very healthy. I suggest that you don't say no when your mom gives you coconut water. Oh, sorry, I am drifted away. Let's go back to the solving word problem. How many cups of juice can Regan obtain from 6 such coconuts? All right. We can use bar model to solve this problem. That means Regan get 1.5 cups from every coconut, correct? So we can represent 1.5 cups using a rectangle. Oh, sorry. And this is 1.5 cup. And the question is, how many cups of juice can Regan obtain from 6 such coconuts? This is what Regan can get from 1 coconut. And then the question is asking, how many cups of juice can Regan obtain from 6 such coconuts? So what are we going to do? What are we going to draw next to complete the bar model? We are going to draw another 6 of rectangles, the same rectangles, to show the 6 same coconut or the 6 such coconut. This does not look the same, but you have to assume that they are the same. Right. Which part show the total number of cups of juice that Regan obtained from 6 such coconut? This is 1 coconut. Which part shows the total number of cups from the 6 such coconuts? This is the part. Now, if you look at this bar model, when you know that one part is 1.5 and there are 6 parts, how do you find out? Do you add? Do you subtract? Do you multiply or do you divide? Okay, we can add, but we are going to add 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, and 1.5. Oh, that is too long. Okay, when we add the same number many times, instead of using the addition, what can we use? Right, we can use multiplications. And therefore, we can say to find the total parts, we are going to use multiplication. We multiply 1.5 by 6. Okay, what will you do with that? There are many ways to multiply mixed number with a whole number. If your school allows for using calculator, you can press and then you find the answer. If you are not, one way is to convert the mixed number into an improper fraction. Do you still remember how? 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. Adding 1, that is 3. 1.5 equals to 3 halves. and then we multiply by 6. Okay. Do you still remember how to multiply a fraction with a whole number? All right, so we can multiply the numerator by the whole number. We got 18 and halved, and that is 18. Fraction is also a division. Okay, we can think like 18 divided by 2, it gives you 9. We can also think of dividing 8 and 2 with the same number, and that will be 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. So the answer still the same, 9. All right. So that means Reagan can obtain 9 cups of juice from 6 such coconut. All right, so far so good. Do you become familiar with the use of bar model? Do you become more familiar with drawing bar model? Do you gain confidence in using bar model to help you understand the word problem, and then gain insight from what operation you have to use before you arrive at the solution or the answer? Thank you. Next, we are going to move to another word problem. Okay. This time, we are going to move to a more complicated word problem that can be solved with more than one step. And because of that, it is very important for us to understand the word problem. Don't try to start calculating, picking up the numbers, and then look for words and then think of which operation, just guessing and then do. No, don't do that. Okay? Spend some time to read in order to understand the word problem. Because if you understand wrongly about the problem, it will lead you to a wrong answer anyway. All right? So remember that the first step, it is very important for you to understand word problems. Now, do you know that one mathematician tell us there are 4 steps of solving word problem? And I really want every Indonesian child to know these steps to problem solving by George Polya, and to really use it in guiding them to solve word problem. So there are 4 steps, and it is very easy for you to remember the steps. What are the steps? So number 1 is understanding. Now, what do you mean by understanding? That means we are trying to understand the word problem by reading it, and then to know that we have understood the word problem, we should be able to know or to gain information from the word problem. Now, let's go through the step together. Why don't we start by reading the word problem together? Sean cut a pole into 3 shorter poles. The first pole was 1.5 meters long, and the second pole was 1 1/10 meters long. The third pole was as long as the first pole and the second pole put together. If I were you, when I was a student, whenever I attempt a word problem, I don't really rush to the question. I will read the story because I basically love story, and it is just nice to move from one story to another story. So let us read the story one more time. Sean cut a pole into 3 shorter poles. Do you know poles? Yeah, it is like a stick, you know, the flagpole. is the stick that you use to raise flag every morning when you have upacara bendera. Yeah, that is pole. So Shan caught a pole. I believe it is a long pole into 3 parts. Okay, so there will be 3 poles. Okay. How long is the first pole? Yeah, it is 1.5 meter long. How long is the second pole? 1 1/10 meter long. Do you know how long is the third pole? You don't know. All right, there's no number there. You are right. But is there any information or clue you can get from there? Yeah, it says that the third pole was as long as the first pole and the second pole put together. Can you imagine that? Maybe some of you can, some of you still blank. Never mind. If it happened to you, what do you know what to do? Yes, read again and read again and read again. So what is the question? The first question is asking how long was the third pole? And then the next question asks how long was the original pole? Do you know what does it mean, the original pole? It is this part. The first pole before it was cut. Now again, that is the first part. So we have gathered all the information. We know the length of the first pole, the length of the second pole, but we don't know the length of the third pole. But I think we can find it, okay? And this is what we are going to do. Again, we go back to the first step, understanding. I think everyone have understood the word problem so far. What is the next step? Step 2 is plan. The first one is understand. What do we mean by understanding? You ask question, what have I gathered from the problem? Second, plan. That also means asking ourselves, how do I solve it? And remember, as I said in the beginning, we are going to find out how bar model can help us solving what problem. So our plan is we are going to draw a model to represent this word problem. Okay? And then step 3 is actually do it. Okay? And in a way, it means that what do I need to find when we want to do? What is it that I want to do? What is it that I want to find out? Okay? And in this case, I think I need to find the length of the third pole. And then before I can find the length of the original pole. Okay? So let's start. How do we plan? How do we draw the model for this? Remember, bar model are basically rectangles to represent quantity. And here we are 3 poles, and each pole has a different length. Length is also a quantity. So we are going to use rectangle to represent the length of each pole. The first pole is 1 1/5 meter long. So this will be the bar model to represent the first pole. The second pole was 1 1/10 meter pole. Right, I can draw another rectangle. I think it is shorter because I think 1 1/10 is less than 1 1/5. But never mind, you don't need to be very exact, okay? Because the bar model is just helping you to figure out and then to see the word problem into a drawing. So how long is this? It is 1 1/10. Okay, I put meter here and meter here. So now the third pole was as long as the first pole and the second pole put together. In here we can say this is the first pole and this is the second pole, and then when they put together, they will be as long as the third pole. Do you understand that? So now if we want to ask the first question, how long was the third pole? Can we use this bar model? which part actually show the length of the third pole? Right, this is the part. The third pole was as long as the first pole and the second pole put together. How do you find out the length of this part? If you look at this bar model, what does the bar model give you? Ideas to find this part. Do you add? Do you subtract? Do you multiply? Or do you divide? Definitely, we have to add because it is something that we put together. So in another way, we are adding 1 and 1/5 and 1 and 1/10 together. Okay? Again, it is adding two mixed number. And if you can see here, one is 1/5, the other one is 1/10. Alright? And then, you know, just now, when we add two mixed number, we can add the whole number first. Oh, we can also add them together, but we make sure that the fraction part of the mixed number share or have the common denominator. Again, we are lucky here. The denominator 5s and 10s, they are related. So that means we only need to convert one denominator. Can you tell me which one to be changed? 5 to 10. How do we change 5 to 10? We multiply by 2. I know some of the kids are doing like that. And that is okay. So now I am using your method in working out the additions of this mixed number. You see how I work? And you tell me whether I get it correctly. Oh, we don't do anything here because they are ready to be added. So what must we do next? Whole number add with whole number, fraction with fractions. 1 and 1 makes 2. 2/10 and 1/10, it equals to 3/10. 2 plus 3/10 is actually 2 and 3/10. And therefore, the length, the third pole was 2 and 3/10 meter long. Have we solved the problem? Yeah, but that is only the first question. Okay, we still have another question. Let me just put A here. And what is the next question? How long was the original pole? Now, this is the representations of the first pole and the second pole. So we know that the third pole is actually the same size as the first two. So now, try to draw the bar model representing the three poles together. This is what I'm going to draw. I'm going to draw exactly the same like this here, showing the first pole, the second pole, and the third pole will be the same length as this one. I just draw a bit longer here. Okay, it does not need to be exactly the same, but it shouldn't be too different either. Okay, so that will be 1 and 1/5. This will be 1 and 1/10. And this part, do you know which part is that? Yeah, we got it from the answer in question A, which is 2 and 3/10. So if we want to find out the original length of the pole, we know that they're asking about this part. Okay, again, I think by looking at the bar model, you know that you are going to use addition to do that. So it is 1 and 1/5 plus 1/10 plus 2 and 3/10. Again, we are going to convert the denominator 5 into 10 before we can add the mixed number together. whole number and whole number, 1 and 1 and 2 make 4. 210, 110 and 310 equals to 610. 4 and 610. Is this the simplest form? No, yet, not yet. Okay, what is the simplest form of 4 and 610? Right, it is 4 and 3/5. All right, so the total, the original pole, I'm sorry, I have to lower myself. This is very natural, yeah? Your teacher also does that in class, all right? The original pole was 4 and 3/5 meter long. Correct. All right? Is there a way, another way to add? We are using adding here, and we are adding the 3 length altogether. Maybe some of you has another way. My friend, last night, we discussed about this question, and he told me that he can solve the problem, especially question B, by using multiplication. Do you know how? Tell your friend, tell your mother that you can solve this word problem, especially question B, by using multiplication. To check whether it is correct is to see whether you arrive at the same answer or not. Okay? But wait, Ibu Lina, just now you say that there are 4 steps in solving word problem. And so far, there are only 3 steps. And anyway, we have already found the answer. Do we still really need the 4 steps? Oh, sure, we should. We still need the 4 steps. What is the 4th step or the last step? That is checked. That means in another way, we are asking ourselves, how can I check my answer? And there are many ways to check the answer. So if you are using addition, you can work backwards. All right? To check whether your answer is correct or not. If you are using addition, then you can use subtraction. 4 3/5, take away 2 3/10, and then take away 1/10. Does it give you 1/5 or not? Okay? Why do we need to check? Now, mathematicians always do this. Mathematics actually is a lesson that trains the mind of everyone to be careful. Do you notice that in mathematics, the answer is always fixed? Of course, there are many ways to arrive at the answer, but the answer will always be the same. And how can we do that? It is because we check and we check and we check. And if you have that habit, that really helps you in life whenever you solve word problem. Because checking actually prevents you from making a mistake. Yeah, it is a little bit long, taking a longer time, but it really helps you. All right, so let's now move to the next question. The same, I give you time to read it. There were 217 children and 84 adults in a library. 57 of the children in the library were boys. How many boys were there in the library? How many fewer girls were there? Sorry, I repeat again. How many fewer girls were there than boys? Now, it is a bit complex perhaps for some of you. Wow, there are many kind of people here. There are children, there are adults, there are boys, and there are girls. Right, but it is very important for us to know the relationship between this kind of people. Now, as I say, this word problem actually talk about people. When we talk about people, we know that they are adults and they are children. They are separate by their age. Okay, children refers to the young people, and then adults refers to the older people. Now, children themselves, we can classify into two. All right, look around in a class, you will find that in a class of children, there will be boys and girls. Now, when we talk about adults, we can also divide or classify adults into two based on their gender, the man and the woman. Okay, and adults, so men and women make adults, boys and girls make children, adult and children make people. Do you see the hierarchy there? Perhaps by looking, by thinking in that way, it helps you to organize, right, and understand the problem. Okay, so again, we are going to use the steps that George Polya tell us to do. So first is understand. We want to gather the information. What information have I gathered from the word problem? How many children are there? 217. How many adults are there in the library? Yeah, you know that, 84. Now, do you know how many boys are there? 57? No, we normally do not use 57 to describe the number of boys. But we know that 5/7 of the children are boys. If we know that, do we know how many parts or what fractions are girls? I think if we are using bar model, it gives us a clearer picture. Now, what else do we need to, what is the next step? The next step is plan. How do I solve the problem? Of course, we are going to use bar model. So let's find out together. Remember, bar model are rectangles to represent quantity. Now here we have children and we have adults. So we can use one rectangle for children and one rectangle for adults. If this is the rectangle for children, and there are 217 children, all right? We are going to also use adults. 84, I think that will be shorter. 84 here. You know that this is children and this is adults, right? 5/7 of the children in the library were boys. Now, which one is the children? This part. And if you see that 5/7 of the children, how to show 5/7 of the children? Right, we divide this into 7 parts. Okay, can you see there are 7 parts? And 5/7 of the children in the library were boys. So I will count 1 7, 2 7, 3 7, 4 7, 5 7. These are boys. So the question is, how many boys are there in the library? Can you tell me? If you look at the bar model, what are you going to do to find the number of boys here? (217) make how many parts? 7 parts. So we can use unitary methods here. We can say that 7 units or 7 parts make 217. And then we can find 1 unit. If we know 7 units is 217, do you know how many is 1 unit? We divide 217 by 7. And then the answer will be, let's do a long division. 217 divided by 7. We can just go to 210 divided by 7. We got 3 tenths. And it is 21 tenths. And then we got 7 ones. 7 ones divided by 7, we got 1 1. and there's no remainder. So we know that 1 unit is 31. If we want to find how many boys are there, how many units represents the boys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means we have 1 unit, 5 units. And then if 1 unit is 31, 5 units will be 5 times 31. And it is 165. The result is 165. And therefore, there were 165 boys in the library. Next, how many fewer girls were there than boys? Again, if we look at this, which part is the girls? Is it the whole part is the girl? No. What is this part? Be careful, this is adults. So we are not using this. Okay? Which part is the girls? You're right. This is the girls. Okay? And we want to know how many fewer girls were there than boys. If the boys have 5 units and the girl have 2 units, how many fewer girls then were there than boys? So we can do is 5 units. We want to find the difference of 5 units and 2 units. That gives us 3 units. So this is the difference. So that means 3 times 31. Remember, we are still talking about the same unit, 31. And 3 times 31 is actually 93. And therefore, to answer question B, there were 93 fewer girls than boys in the library. All right, I think we have to stop here and let's us wrap up what we have learned today. Remember, today we are learning that we can use a bar model to solve word problem involving fractions. And then we can see that the bar model helps us to understand the word problem. And then when we understand the word problem, it gives us some idea about the correct operations that we use to find the correct answer. So I hope this lesson will give you some idea and will inspire you to begin to love bar model and to use it when you are solving word problem. All the best for you, and don't forget to always wash your hands and to stay safe at all times. Thank you.
Hi everyone, hi teachers and students. We would like to say thank you for your support and thank you for keep learning with Mentari Group live streaming lesson. And now, Mentari Group in collaboration with Persona Edu would like to support digital learning which enables children to learn independently at home. Currently, it is available for 3 titles which are New Math Champion, this is New Math Champion, and it is available for Juara Matematika, an Indonesian version of New Math Champion, and also Juara Science, a science textbook in Indonesian language. And through this support, we hope the children of Indonesia can more easily learn mathematics and science in this current situation. After this, let us show you how this digital learning and how mathematics learning can be done with interactive features and engaging visual and also systematic lesson delivery. Let's have a look at the new Math Champion level 2. And this is the page of new Math Champion 2. And let's see the contents in the primary 2. The students will learn about numbers to 1000 and then addition and subtraction using models, addition and subtraction, and then it also about multiplication, division, money, length, and I think allow us to show you chapter 11, which is about math. Let's click. This is math in chapter 11, and the page that we show you is carry out this activity. So it is one of the features in new Math Champion digital interactive books. And the first lesson, it is about measuring in kilograms. Talking about carry out this activity, it provides the opportunity for the kids to consolidate mathematical concept through activities, of course, and the use of concrete materials. In this case, we can learn about 1 kilogram mass, and we compare 1 kilogram mass with fruits, and in this case it is pear, and also another object that is bag. And let's turn the next page that is about ready, set, go. It is also one of the features in your Math Champion. It introduces the concepts, skills, or problem-solving strategies in a very engaging way. And the visual and the pictures here are also very good and very interesting for the children to learn. And let's check another page. And this is the page that we want to show you. You know, some pages are also enriched with interactive features, which are marked with this kind of icon. This. Yeah. So let's check this icon, and there you go. It is our digital interactive. Write the mass of this fruit. Yes, in the lessons, teaches us how to measure the mass of fruits with weighing machine. So in this digital interactive, as you can see here, we can measure the mass using the weighing machine. By taking a look at the scale, we can know how many kilograms it is. So let's answer 1 kilogram and then check the answer. Yes, we got correct. Yeah, let's create another problem and let's choose the wrong answer. What response does it appear? Yeah, this is watermelon and it is 7 kilogram, but we want to choose the wrong answer, for example 4 kilogram, and let's see. The answer is very wrong. Isn't that so interesting? Yes, indeed. Let's check the other level. We want to check another level. Maybe we can check your Math Champion level 4. Yeah, this is your Math Champion level 4. And let's check the contents in this level. There are whole numbers, factors and multiples, fractions, decimals, percentage, and maybe we can check angles. Chapter 8. Yeah, angles are dissected into several lessons. As you can see here in the first lessons, we can learn about naming angles. all of you can also have interactive activity by clicking this icon, yeah. There are some quick practices also that help us to understand the concept learned in this ready and set go features. And let's turn to another page. This is lesson 2. It is about measuring angles. We can learn here how to measure angles by using mathematical tools, which is protractor. And in these features, all of you can learn the steps how to measure the angle by using the protractor, yeah. The protractor can help us to find the degrees of the angle. Now let's check another page that is about practices of measuring angle. This is the quick practices that can help you to understand more about measuring angles. And we got icons here, so maybe we can check what it is. Yeah, this is our digital interactive books, and it is about using a protractor to measure angle A, B, and C. So we can use the virtual protractor to measure this angle. Wow, this is very interesting. And also we have something that allow us to see the angle closer, so that we can choose which scale that we can choose to find this angle. Is it inner scale, the red one, or the outer scale? So in this case, we use the red one, yeah, the inner circle. So what angle is it? It is 70, 71, 72, 73, 74. Now let's answer 74. Yes, it is correct. That's our digital interactive of New Math Champion. So we are looking forward to have you learning with this one. Yeah? What do you think? I think it's very simple, and for your information, it can be accessed in your computer, laptop, gadget in all operating systems such as Windows, iOS, and Android. Thank you so much for watching, and keep learning with us.
Halo adik-adik, saatnya membaca dongeng bersama Kak Ocha. Adik-adik, hari ini Kak Ocha ingin bercerita dengan judul apa itu di punggungku? Nah, adik-adik coba lihat di punggungnya masing-masing. Bisa lihat sesuatu? Kelihatan? Susah ya? Begitu pula dengan si kucing. Jadi, pada suatu hari, kucing ingin sekali bermain di luar rumah. Enaknya bermain apa ya? Aha, bermain gulungan benang saja. Akhirnya, kucing pun mengambil mainan gulungan benang dan bermainnya di halaman rumah. Kucing melempar gulungan benang, kemudian berlari dan menangkapnya. Hap, gulungan benang, gemas. Dan si kucing terlalu asyik bermain gulungan benang. Sampai akhirnya ia pun tidak sadar bahwa ada seekor tupai yang sedang memperhatikannya dari atas pohon. Wah, kayaknya seru sekali kucing itu bermain benang. Aku juga mau main ikutan. Akhirnya tupai pun melompat dari pohon, melayang di udara dan hap! Wah! Apa itu di punggungku? Ternyata tupai hinggap di punggung si kucing. Si kucing pun sangat ketakutan karena ia tidak tahu apakah sesuatu yang ada di punggungnya bisa menggigitnya atau menyengatnya atau bahkan menusuknya. Wah, apa itu di punggungku? Lalu kemudian tupai pun berkata, Hei, tenanglah. Apa masalahmu? Hei, berhenti. Namun suara tupai terlalu kecil sehingga kucing yang panik tidak bisa mendengar suara tupai sama sekali. Kucing yang panik pun berlarian ke sana kemari. Wah, apa itu? Apa itu di punggungku? Ia pun berlari ke arah lapangan. Biasanya di lapangan para hewan suka berolahraga. Lalu tanpa sengaja kucing menyepak bola yang sedang dimainkan oleh musang. Aduh, sakit. Ternyata bola tersebut mengenai wajah musang. Aduh, hai kucing, berhenti kau. Aduh. Musang pun sangat marah. Kucing yang ketakutan melihat musang akhirnya berlari ke arah pasar. Musang tentu saja mengejar kucing. Hei, berhenti kucing. Hei. Lalu tiba-tiba cek. Suara apakah itu? Ternyata itu adalah sayuran milik Pak Beruang yang sudah hancur terinjak oleh kucing dan musang. Hei, apa yang kalian lakukan dengan sayuranku? Hancur semua. Hei, berhenti. Beruang sangat marah karena sayurannya sudah tidak bisa dijual. Kucing dan musang berlari kabur dari beruang. Beruang pun mengejar kucing dan musang. Lalu kucing, musang, dan beruang berlari ke arah restoran. Lalu tiba-tiba, mereka menabrak badak si pelayan yang membawa nampan berisi makanan. Dan semua makanan itu sudah jatuh berantakan. Hei, apa yang kalian lakukan? Makananku untuk para tamu. Sayang sekali, badak sangat marah. Lalu kucing, musang, dan beruang berlari kabur kata mereka. Lalu si badak pun berlari mengejar kucing, musang, dan beruang. Kucing, musang, beruang, dan badak saling berkejar-kejaran. Mereka lari ke atas bukit dan semakin mereka berlari ke atas, mereka semakin berlari melambat. Dan kemudian mereka menghempaskan diri ke tanah. Mereka semua kelelahan. Lalu adik-adik, bagaimana dengan tupai ya? Di mana si tupai? Tiba-tiba tupai turun dari punggung kucing. Aduh, apa tadi dari punggungku? Tanya kucing yang sedang kelelahan dan tidak melihat tupai sama sekali. Lalu tiba-tiba dari puncak bukit terdapat seekor singa yang sangat besar. Wow! Bagaimana adik-adik suara singa? Bagaimana? Wow! Singa mengaum sangat keras. Wah! Apakah kamu yang ada di punggungku tadi? Apa? Wow! Kata singa. Karena kucing dan tupai ketakutan melihat singa, mereka pun berlari ke bawah bukit, melewati musang, beruang, dan badak yang kebingungan. Namun akhirnya mereka semua berlari ke kaki bukit. Sesampainya di bawah, tupai tiba-tiba berhenti. Lalu kucing, musang, beruang, dan badak juga akhirnya berhenti dan saling bertabrakan. Mereka pun menghempaskan diri di tanah. Aduh, lelah. Hei, kucing, itu tadi, tupai itu tadi yang ada di punggungmu, kata badak. Iya, memang betul aku yang ada di punggung kamu, kucing. Aku ingin sekali bermain denganmu karena kayaknya asyik sekali bermain gulungan benang, ucap tupai tanpa ada rasa bersalah sama sekali. Bagaimana kucing kalau kita bermain sekarang? Apa? Bermain sekarang? Akhirnya kucing pun pingsan karena kelelahan dan terlalu kaget karena ternyata yang ada di punggungnya hanyalah seekor tupai. Begitu adik-adik ceritanya. Kaget ya karena ternyata yang di punggungnya hanya seekor tupai. Dan adik-adik sampai jumpa di cerita berikutnya. Dadah!
I'm Miss Kirti. Today I shall be doing grade 5 English. Let's begin. Let's begin with reading skills. What can you see in this picture? I see a king. He seems to be amazed by the spider. Let's see why he is amazed. Well, to know about this, I would like you all to read the text by yourself. Now, listen and read aloud. Bruce and the Spider. There was once a king of Scotland whose name was Robert Bruce. He needed to be both brave and wise because the time in which he lived were wild and rude. The King of England was at war with him and had led a great army into Scotland to drive him out of the land. Battle after battle had been fought. 6 times Bruce had led his brave little army against his foes, and 6 times his men had been beaten and driven into fight. At last, his army was scattered, and he was forced to hide in the woods and in lonely places among the mountains. One rainy day, Bruce lay on the ground under a crude shed, listening to the patter of the drops on the roof above him. He was tired and unhappy. He was ready to give up all hope. It seemed to him that there was no use for him to try to do anything more. As he lay thinking, he saw a spider over his head making ready to weave her web. He watched her as she toiled slowly and with great care. 6 times she tried to throw her frail thread from one beam to another, and 6 times it fell short. "Poor thing," said Bruce. "You too know what it is to fail." But the spider did not lose hope. With the 6th failure, with still more care, she made ready to try for the 7th time. Bruce almost forgot his own troubles as he watched her swing herself out upon the slender line. Would she fail again? No. The thread was carried safely to the beam and fastened there. "I too will try a 7th time," cried Bruce. He rose and called his men together. He told them of his plans and sent them out with messages of cheer to his disheartened people. Soon there was an army of brave Scotchmen around him. Another battle was fought, and the King of England was retreated to his own country. After that day, no one by the name of Bruce would ever hurt a spider. The lesson which the little creature had taught the king was never forgotten. That was the story. Now I shall give you 3 minutes to complete the answers. Please do. Let's check the answers together. What did the spider teach Robert Bruce? The spider taught Robert Bruce not to give up. A strong spider. How did Robert Bruce show he was both brave and wise? Robert Bruce showed he was both brave and wise by calling together his men and sending messages of cheer to his disheartened people. He was further brave by battling the English army and making them retreat to England. Number 3. What does the word crude mean in the sentence? Bruce lay on the ground under a crude shed. Crude means made in a simple or rough way. We'll practice more of these type of questions soon. Number 4. How does the King of England show he is different from Robert Bruce? The King of England is different from Robert Bruce in that he retreated to his own country after being defeated once by the Scottish army. Well, that was the end of our reading and answering the questions. We shall now go to the next part. It is learning vocabulary. Our vocabulary today will be context clues. The meaning is there. Many a times we read books but we get stuck because we come across unfamiliar words. That makes us want to look at the dictionary. But now we can try context clues. This is how it works. For example, the movie star's large and beautiful home was palatial. What type of word is it? The underlined word. Is it a noun? Is it a verb or adjective? What are the words in the sentence give us clues? So for the underlined word, we can find clues. For example, large, beautiful, those are the clues. Do we know the base word? Which other words start with palais and describe somewhere people live? Yes, let's try now. Palace. We are going to begin from 1. Exercise. Let's start. The movie star's large and beautiful home was palatial. So which is the correct answer? Ugly, tiny for dogs, like a palace. You are right. Like a palace. Number 2. At the restaurant, we were offered a variety of beverages like milk and tea. What is the clue in this number? Like milk and tea. It's liquid. Could it be silverware, drinks, menus? You are right again. It is drinks. Number 3. Slavery was abolished in the US after the Civil War. What is the clue in here? After the Civil War. Abolished. Can abolished be outlawed, exchanged, running, or common? After Civil War, usually many rules are abolished. So abolish would mean outlawed. Number 4. Pedestrians should look both ways before crossing the street. What could be the other name for pedestrians? What does it mean? The clue is should look both ways before crossing. Crosswalk, walkers, stoplights, parrots. Definitely it is walkers. Only walkers can look both ways. Number 5. When I fell off the trampoline, I fractured my arm and wore a cast. The word fractured, what does it mean? Look at the clue. Fell, my arm, and wore a cast. Can it be rested? Broke? Yes, you are right. It is broke. When you have a fracture, then only you have to use a cast. So your bone must have got broken. Number 6. The class decided to exhibit the science project during Parents' Night. What is the clue here for exhibit? Project during Parents' Night. Parents come, they would want to see something. What could exhibit mean? Lose, eat, trade, show. Yes, you are right. It is show. Number 7. The frigid water made Elizabeth's teeth chatter. Look at the clue, chatter. Chatter would means you are trembling. Why would you tremble? Yes, you are right again. Because it is cold. So frigid water means cold water. Number 8. Typewriters became obsolete with the development of personal computers. Look at the clues again. When there is development of something new, what happens to the other one? Obsolete. Could it be popular, outdated, careful, or round? Yes, you are right. Something is new, the other one becomes outdated. So obsolete is outdated. Number 9. His mother gets anxious if he stays outside after dark. Anxious. He stays outside after dark. Could it be nervous? Yes. If you are outside in the dark, you do get nervous. It can't be silly, it can't be happy, it can't be sleepy. Nervous. The last one, number 10. After the rainstorm, the rainbow lit up the sky with vivid colors. What can lit up the sky? Try. Darkness, dark. Funny, bright, normal. It has to be bright. So vivid would mean bright because it lit up the sky. Thank you. That was your vocabulary. I hope you all enjoyed, and it will enhance you more to do your reading skills. So you don't have to always depend on dictionary. You can do context clues. Now, we shall proceed to the third part. It is grammar. We are going to start grammar. The topic for today is the future tense. When we talk of future, we know we have to use will. But here we are going to differentiate between future tense will and going to. What is the difference? When do we use will and when do we use going to? Let's see what's the difference between Peter and James. Peter is hungry. He thinks he will eat pizza tonight. So Peter is unsure. He is still thinking whether he will eat pizza or something else. Let's read for James. James and his family are going to Pizza Hut. He is going to eat pizza tonight. So James has made up his mind to go to Pizza Hut and have pizza. That is the difference. If you have planned, you can use going to. If you are unsure, you will use will. Let's try to browse through the exercise. Be going to. When do we use it? Plans and intentions. Well, if you have planned in advance, you want to do it, you use the verb be going to. For example, I'm going to visit my aunt next Friday. So you planned for next Friday. Second condition, when you see what's going to happen, that means you already know what is about to happen. For example, when the boss sees this, she is going to go crazy. Yeah, because you know if he sees what's going on wrong, he will get angry. For these two sentences, we will use going to. Now, when do we use will? Condition, immediate decisions. For example, I'll have the salad and the fish. Yes, that was spontaneous. You are in a restaurant and you say, I'm having salad, I'm having fish. So it was spontaneous, not pre-planned. Second condition, predictions. If it is prediction, for example, people will work more from home in the future. So you are predicting. You're not sure about it. It's just a prediction. Let us try to do the exercise together. All right? Number 1, Sally. There's no milk left. Betty. Oh, I blank some from the shop. I'll give you 2 seconds to fill in the answer. You are right. Betty says, oh, I will get some from the shop. I will get some because it was spontaneous. They didn't know it was over. Number 2, the population of Valencia blank 2 million by the year 2050. Please fill in the answer. Yes, the population of Valencia will reach 2 million by the year 2050. This is a prediction that by 2050 it will reach 2 million. Let's go to the next one. Mom says, I told you to tidy up your room. Son, sorry mom, I forgot. I blank it after lunch. Please fill in. Let's check if you got it right this time. Sorry mom, I forgot. I will do it after lunch. It was again a spontaneous because he was scolded. The next one, Sally. Why don't we meet for coffee on Friday morning? Willie. Sorry, I can't. I blank the doctor then. Please fill in. Well, you got it right. That's good. Yes, the answer is, sorry, I can't. I'm going to see the doctor then. You had made an appointment, so it was planned. That's why we use going to. Number 5. Tomorrow, blank, a bright and sunny day everywhere in Spain, said the weather woman. Please fill in your answer. Here you go again. You are right. It's a forecast, it's a prediction. That means tomorrow will be a bright and sunny day everywhere in Spain, said the weather woman. Number 6. Look at that big black cloud. I think it blank. You got 2 seconds to fill in. Yes, look at that big black cloud. I think it is going to rain. You are talking because you saw the big black cloud, so you knew it was going to rain. Number 7. Sally, what are your plans for the weekend? Betty, Brad Pitt phoned. We blank on a picnic. Let's fill your answer. Yes, you are right. Betty, Brad Pitt phoned. We are going on a picnic because you made appointment with him. It's a plan. Number 8. Sally, have you booked the flights yet? Betty, don't worry, it's all organized. I blank to the travel agents tomorrow morning. Please fill in. That's good. You seem to be able to get it now. Yes, you are right. The answer is, don't worry. It's all organized. I am going to the travel agents tomorrow morning. So you plan to go there and you have put going to. Number 9. In the future, people blank bigger heads. Fill in. I'm very happy. Yes, you got it right. In the future, people will have bigger heads. You are just predicting in future. Let's do the last one now. The glass is too near the edge. I think it blank. Yes, of course, you got it right. The glass is too near the edge, so you are sure it's going to fall. I think it is going to fall. Well, children, that was the end of our grammar. I hope you all enjoyed and understood the lesson well. Well, now, before I close, I would like to give you all something to do. It's your homework. Try to guess the meaning of these words from the story using contextual clues. Force, scattered, patter, frail, beam, slender, fasten, dishearten. Try to find the meaning of these words without using a dictionary. Find the clues in the story so you can connect with the proper answer. Then check the meanings in the dictionary and write sentences using these words so you are sure your answers are correct. Thank you so much. It was nice. Goodbye. See you next week.
I'm gonna
Halo adek, gimana rasanya setelah menonton live streaming di Mentari?
Bagus.
Bagus. Apakah Anda puas?
Puas.
Oke, terima kasih adek.